Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening out there.
Oh, there we are.
There we go.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. Good to be back.
We are back here for another live stream. Welcome.
And yeah, so we're back with our live stream number 4.
Yes,
And us two doing the live stream again.
yes.
And
My name is Jacob.
I'm Patrick. And yeah, do the customer support and do some content together with you.
Yes. And I work with product design on top of that. So we're kind of two different parts of Torso here today meeting for another live stream.
Yeah. And the first one of a new year. 2026.
It is. We hope everyone has had a nice holiday.
Yeah, we're back and recharged. Had a bit of a cold to fight in the start of January, but back on top.
Back on top. That's good to hear. So maybe we should keep this playing a bit for now. So we have a few things we would like to go over with you today. So we have an agenda as we usually do. Let me see if I can bring it up. It's right there. So live stream 4. Welcome everyone. We have a few things. So first of all, we're gonna talk a little bit about last year.
Yeah.
And we have a few things that we want to highlight from last year that we are really inspired by and have had a nice time looking at. And then we have some updates on the S4 and the T1. So what's new? And then we have some community questions. And then we will do some demonstrations on the S4 today. Yeah.
And maybe also a jam.
Maybe also a jam. It's been now it's kind of a tradition to do the to do the ending
a fun one
jam.
last time.
It was a really fun one. So let's see if we can live up to the pressure. Some of our colleagues are going to the US next week.
Yeah. So they're visiting NAM, and then they're gonna be at Buchla and Friends, and also gonna have a meet and greet together with Perfect Circuit.
Exactly.
I think they're leaving this coming Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, I think. Yeah. So so if you meet them, please say hello.
Yeah.
I know they're looking forward to going, so they hope to see some of you there if you're watching.
Yeah. It's exciting for them, and also, I guess exciting going to NAM and see what's it all about.
What's that all about? Yeah,
what's going on there?
Exactly. So, Patrick, should we get going with the agenda?
Let's dive right into it.
Let's dive right
into it.
I think it
sounds like a brilliant idea. So we spoke about looking at what went on last year, because new year, time to reflect a bit, and we been really inspired by just seeing nice content out there, people using the S4 in brilliant ways, inspiring us, and we chose 3 pieces or 3 highlights from last year that we really enjoyed, and wanted to give a shout out to
them.
People.
We're gonna share that now.
Yeah.
So the first one, we have this one, and then we have this one. So the first guy we would like to give a little shout out to is Mordio. We had the pleasure of meeting Mordio at Superbooth. Last May.
He came by and also played a little live set at our booth, and really great guy, good energy, and did a video with us with our favorite tricks, and always nice meeting really engaged S4 users.
Exactly, and he's been putting out a lot of great content with the S4. Both some jam videos, so I'm gonna skip in because I think the beginning is a bit quiet on this one. So he's done a few jam videos like this one, but he's also done videos where about taking a hardware instrument like this one and turning them into finished tracks, turning recordings into finished tracks.
Yeah, it's nice for getting like the workflow, how to use S4 with, for example, Ableton, and how to like go from an idea to get something like finished is always good to get inspired from different people by. And yeah, I think Mordio did that well.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I think
his
this
sounds.
particular video we're taking a little preview of here. I hope you can hear it. This is almost 2 hours, so I don't think we'll be watching all of it.
No, just an hour, I think.
I think we'll move on soon. But just to say, there's a lot of great content on his channel, on his YouTube channel. So go and check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is an interesting one. So in our old office, we moved office a while ago, but before we were here, we were in a smaller office, and one day a guy knocked on our door. His name was Rosendo.
Yeah.
And he is an artist and worked with technology.
Yeah.
And he borrowed an S4.
And came by for, at that point, we ate a lot of toast for breakfast, or like for lunch.
Yeah. So
Also
he was
breakfast.
kind of introduced to the to the Danish lunch table.
Yeah, also that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so the reason he came by was because he was doing an exhibition together with an artist, or it was her installation, I think, called she's called X Shells, and they worked on this installation together where they took art from, I can't remember how many kind of underrepresented female Nordic artists. And they took their images and kind of made this very fragmented, interesting sound and visual installation that you kind of walk into. It was called Interlink, and the greater exhibition was called Against All Odds. But Rosendo used the S4 as kind of the soundtrack for this exhibition. So as you can see on this little video here, there's some nice shots of the exhibition. So you walked into this room and it kind of reacted to your movements, and these little fragments, they kind of moved around, and it's a very, very nice experience. Very nice guy.
Yeah, it's always nice to see the S4 in like different environments, and to see it in set up like this is really inspiring.
Definitely. Yeah, and the exhibition was at the National Gallery of Denmark.
SMK, I think, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
SMK, yes.
SMK.
Yeah. And I believe if you Google this, you can find some more information about it. I know Rosendo, he wrote some stuff about it, I believe. So yeah, another cool one.
Definitely.
Yeah, and as you say, Patrick, it's always cool to see the S4 in a unexpected environment, and this was definitely one of them. So yeah. So let's move on to the last one.
And this is a video by Jay Hosking, who has made several really nice S4 videos. I really, in particular, really like this one where he did a whole album on the S4 and made it into this YouTube video where you can tag along and see how the tracks are played live. And so I really like the concept of releasing an album in this way. Just some like really nice rhythmic tracks. Really dig the sound, and just inspiring to see because also from like a content perspective, what is like engaging and what is it really interesting to see. And then, I think it's really brilliant.
Yeah, and also just to see the S4, I said before, in an unexpected environment, but this is like pushed to its limits. So you kind of see, okay, how can you actually use the S4 to make a whole track and a whole album? And so if you're really interested to see the S4 in a more unfiltered kind of performative setting, go and check this video out. He has a few more on the S4 and a lot of other great content.
I believe maybe he's also on the Discord as well.
I think he is. Yeah.
So shout out for some nice S4 material, and thanks for inspiring us. And,
Yes.
So hopefully some more good moments like this to come in 2026.
I think so. Let's hope
Definitely.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to the updates on what's new with both the S4 and the T1.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the S4. So,
you see there, yeah.
What's new? So we can say we are still working on the 2.1 update for the S4. So
the beta was released in December, right? And it's out there and being tested.
Release date still to be announced. But we are working on it, and we've had a lot of great feedback, and we're gonna just briefly go over two of like the bigger points that we've fixed in the beta. So we can start with the first one here, Patrick.
Yes, and this is one that's been issue for quite some time, and something that took a bit longer than expected to fix, but it's fixed now in the beta, which is really nice. It's the clicks in the disk, which was caused by X runs, and where you could hear them when you're doing crossfades in the disk device, for example. This was a priority to be fixed because I got a lot of feedback from users who wanted to have the S4 click free, and
of course,
makes sense.
Yeah,
and,
but we can say there's kind of like two situations where this could happen. It's kind of when you load in longer samples, but it's also when you start to use the crossfading. And that's also been fixed. So anyone out there who has been experiencing these problems should see that in the coming 2.1 update, it will be click free.
It's really nice. And should we move on to the other big issue that has been fixed?
Yes, let's do that.
And we spoke about this in the last Q&A as well, where we're looking into a fix from software side. So we also wrote out on the Discord channel regarding the select encoder. And in the beta, there's been some tuning to how it reads. And there's been a fix with the jitter. But again, there's still some of the encoders where there are hardware issues. So if you experience the 2.1 update not solving this issue, you should contact us at our support.
Yes, exactly. So there's kind of two things to this select encoder. One is we have fixed in software, and the other one is a faulty component.
Yeah. But so it was like the jitteriness has been fixed. But I guess if it doesn't work at all, it's not going to be fixed by this update. But write me at the support and we'll figure it out.
So I'll just quickly, because there's a question here about how to get into the beta. So there's a link on somewhere on Discord. We can post it again, where you can sign up for the beta. We have a lot of signups, so it's not we don't let everyone in rather to the beta, because there's already a lot of people in there, and we don't want to make it too unmanageable for us. So sometimes we let a few new people in just to kind of top up, but you can sign up on Discord. And there's a question here about some side chaining, and maybe that's a little inspiration that's totally unrelated to what we're talking about, but maybe we can do that in the jam, do some side chaining.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's a question here, firmware update with sidechain. We can do it without a firmware update. Yeah. Cool. So let's move on to let's move on to T1.
Yes. So right before Christmas, there was an early Christmas present in the form of a long-awaited T1 2.1 update. And it was sort of just put out there, and you could see it in the config app that there is a new update available. And we wanted to, before we announced it, have the documentation ready, which is soon ready, as far as I know, a new user guide for the T1, and along with some tutorial videos. We had as a goal to get out in 2025, and so it was put out, just around right before Christmas.
Exactly.
And, we went over some of the features last time, but lots of new enhancements with the hold mode and locking the random parameters, and the FX mode, FX track, and the CCs being auto saved, and also, if we go on to, I think
let's move on, because there's one of the new features. Now you're able to save like a configuration on the on the T1, sorry, and that's there's been a naming change to some of this. Maybe you can
exactly.
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I guess it was before you made a backup of the T1, but now, we call it saving a project. This naming convention sort of caters more to saving tracks on the T1 and being able to share them easier with one another. And they're called projects now, and the system has also changed, so it's a zip file.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has been improved, and was one of the things that didn't work so well with the old system. So it's really nice having a good project system.
Yes, exactly. And so we have another one here about reporting bugs.
Exactly.
And that's because there has been some reports around the backup system and around updating the T1. And you're the guy who gets all the emails.
Yes.
So maybe you can kind of let everyone know what
exactly.
How do you make a good bug report?
Yeah, especially with the T1, it's important to know if you're using Windows or Mac, and which system, which OS you're running, and then which firmware you're on the T1 as well, and also more about the setup, if you're connecting it through a hub, or if you're using it together with some gear and stuff like that. And always, it's also always really helpful getting videos. But thank you for taking the time to submit the bugs out there, and hopefully we'll get them sorted in the bug fix update. And so I think there's still a bit of fine tuning on that, but I think the most important things are the operating system, and we'll take it from there. I had to say, with the installing the firmware, there's been some units that have been bricked, where it's the
So we actually have a question here about that. So someone says here about the issue updating the T1 that causes it to brick.
Yeah, and that's where in most cases a manual update will solve it. So in the config app, there's an option to update it manually, and this should solve it in most cases, unless there is a more severe problem or a hardware issue.
So when you say manually, what is it? What does that?
So it's instead of doing it down the config menu, you say manual, and then you find the update file in your browser, and then you get a terminal and have to type in the port.
Right.
There's a guide for this, and write me and we'll get it sorted.
Yeah. And you can do that at support
at torsoelectronics.com.
Nice. Cool. I think that's it for the T1. So let's move on to the next one here. So community question time.
Yes.
So as we do every time here on the live streams, we take a bunch of questions that you guys ask on the Discord. We make a new post every time we do one of these live streams where you can ask a question, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as we can. We've collected, I can't remember, maybe 10 or 12 or something this time. And let's just go through those.
Yeah.
And have a little talk about those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're interested in asking a question,
yes,
that's on our Discord, Torso Electronics. And
you can also come with feedback for the next Q&A there, and that'd be much appreciated.
If you have any ideas or anything.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's try this. So this question is from Brian.
Yes.
And he asks, I want to know if you can share any new features. Mostly curious what is coming as far as new devices go.
Yes. And this was also a question that I thought I knew the answer for, but then the development team gave me an interesting update about something.
Yeah,
really
so
exciting,
on one of the previous live streams, we teased that there was some changes coming to, or enhancements coming to the granular device Mosaic on the S4. We're still doing some of that, but we're also working on a kind of slicing device, so a brand new device that goes into the granular slot, which will be focused around jumping in the buffer that you record in, and doing that rhythmically.
Yeah.
Making some interesting patterns with that. So there'll be kind of this balance between Mosaic as this more free and crazy, unpredictable clouds kind of granular, and then the new slice granular device, which will be focused on more rhythmic stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like a brilliant device, and also something that I know a lot of people have been looking forward to. Some sort of slice device.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can't say anything yet when we are releasing this, but it is something we're actively working on and super excited about. So, yeah,
cool.
That was kind of what we can say now.
Yeah,
with as far as new devices go. So, but there's one feature on the S4. It's not a device, but it's the synth mode. On some parameters on the S4. We'll be showing that later. It's in the beta, so for those of you who are in the beta already knows about it, but we're gonna show that off later. So cool. Next question here. This is from Bosch.
So yes, any updates about S4 open source and or API interface letting us inject our own DSP?
This is also something we have briefly talked about on another live stream. Nothing we can say yet. No announcements yet. We think this is very interesting.
It's definitely it could be interesting.
Yeah, and it's great to see that there also are people in the community who think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Just we'll let you know when there's anything to share. Yeah. So we have this one.
Yeah. So it is possible to. So with the new backup system, you get a zip file where you can see the banks that are saved, and so in this way, it's just a zip file that will be loaded to the T1, so you can, if you have another backup, you can take a bank from there and replace it with another bank. That would be the way to do per bank backup, with the new system. It hasn't been tested that much, but this is the way it would work. But yeah, I think the focus has been getting a full T1 backup that is reliable. But in theory, it should work.
Yeah. So we have another question here from AB72. They ask, is it possible to make the tape scrubbing sound on tape optional? So maybe, Patrick, you can do a little demonstration of what that means.
Yeah, let's get a little up here. Have any sound coming through?
Oh, maybe I turned down the... oh, maybe I think I switched off the track.
Yes.
Maybe let's load up a new one, because then we'll be...
Let's get the... I want to get the good classic Bellix sound. This one. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and let's load up the tape here. And here we go. And let's get... Yes. The rotate sound.
Yeah, so it's the sound that happens when you rotate in tape, which kind of emulates a tape going back and forth. So we've had this feedback come in before. We are looking at different possibilities of tweaking this, but it's not something that is... because of how tape is made, it's not something that necessarily super simple or easy to make. So we kind of have to figure out a smart implementation of it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely something that's been requested sometimes, and also see like if you were to offset the sample, there could be maybe a less tape-ish way to do it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's what we have on that. I have a quick question here about just I don't want to jump too much in, but we talked about the Mosaic and some of the new features, and a person here asked if the updates to the Mosaic device, if they are not happening now. They are happening now.
Yes.
But we are also making a new granular device with new features as well.
And where some of the features will also be in this device.
It will be kind of merged a bit. It's just, the point is that we're not cramming too much functionality into Mosaic. We are making something else also.
Cool.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go back to this one here. And so... Are you planning on using the headphone out as a second output? And this question is from Sager.
Would be cool. Would be nice, but unfortunately, it's not technical. It's not possible. It's a technical limitation with the S4. So you would have to use a mixer of some sort, or if you want to queue stuff, or
So next one here. Any update concerning the mapping of the S4 tracks to the output of the audio interface? And this question is about it's from PBMK, and the question is about routing S4 tracks, so via USB.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the USB audio routing of tracks. So now they're just like pre-mapping, and this is in the backlog as far as I understand, to be able to route these tracks using USB audio.
Yeah. So something we are looking on to make integration with other devices using USB easier, more convenient, right? So this is a fun one.
Yeah.
Also from PBMK. And the question here is, would it be possible to save all the modification done via temp in a new scene via a shortcut? And we can say yes, that would be possible. And yes, it is something that we really want to do. It's not a technical limitation, or like a technical challenge. It's about UI. How do we put this feature into the buttons and the workflow that we have already established?
Yeah.
We can't say when this will be implemented, but we really want to. So just to clarify a bit, like what the workflow would be about. So you kind of have started making a track. Let's just try to do something. We like this. We double tap temp. So now we're in the temporary mode. And then we find a new place. And then we really like this. So we would love to save this to a new scene so we can keep the original, which is this, right? So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will also be like a really torso feature. Like in the same way you can save temporary things you do on a T1 to a new pattern.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it makes good sense getting this functionality.
Exactly. Nice. So here's a question about syncing with the S4, and it's from Lorenzo.
Yes.
And the question is, I would like to know how your plans are to solve the syncing problem on the S4.
Yes, and there's been a lot of feedback on both with latency and MIDI sync, and so I know this is being looked into. So there's been measured 17 milliseconds of latency, which is also gonna be improved, which is gonna help. And then there's the MIDI sync, which is gonna be improved as well, along with in the config being able to offset the MIDI clock. So these are three things that are being worked on to improve the whole syncing functionality of the S4 together with different instruments.
Yeah, so we are looking into some of these things. Again, it's not something we can say that it'll happen in the next update or the update after or whatever, but we can say we are looking at it. This one is a short one, so would love to see program change on projects on the S4. This is not something we're gonna do. We use program change for scene changes, and we're gonna keep it that way. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And this one we have actually already talked about, but we can just mention it again. When will clicks and pops be solved on the S4? And this will be solved in 2.1 update, which is in beta now. Yeah.
Which we're running on the two S4s as well.
Yeah, we can say that too. Yeah, so these two S4s are running the beta. So if anything happens that shouldn't happen, that is why. Cool. And the last question here: any plans to offer more analog clock options other than 24 ppqn?
And yes, this is possible. It's just not been a priority, but it's definitely something that could be implemented in a future update. Because right now it's only the 24 ppqn option on the S4. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah, and we can say with that, I mean, as it is in development, everything is about prioritizing, and it's about finding like the things that solving the things that affects most users. So our priority has been the click issue and the encoder issue for this update, and that's like been like the 100% focus for the S4. So that's why you hear us sometimes say we're looking into it, and because there's a lot of things going on, but it's we are only how many people we are, and so there's always a priority and a balancing act of where we put our resources. Just to clarify that a bit.
I guess that's a good way to sum up the questions. Some good questions out there. Hopefully we answered them.
Yes. Yeah. And thanks a lot for the questions. And if you have questions, again, please join our Discord. You can ask questions in there, and we'll be happy to take a look at them. Cool. So let's move on to the next part of the live stream.
Yes. Product demos.
Product demos. So we have 25 minutes, I can see. That should be enough to get something exciting going tonight.
Definitely. Yes.
I think the plan is today we're going to start off by showing the send feature on the S4.
Yes.
So let's move on to another view. Like this.
There we have it.
I'll move this a bit to the side. I'll move this over here. And this should be good. Okay. There we go. So, I'm just going to load up a new project. I'm just going to check because, we do have some issues here. So, I think we'll just do a quick reboot. That's what I meant earlier about the beta thing.
Yes.
I think there's some syncing, some clock thing going on. So, but but what we're gonna show is a new feature on the beta for the S4 2.1 update, and what we have here is, let me just think what sample it would be nice to use. We could do something like this. Okay.
All right.
So we have our parameters, and on some of the parameters you'll see this little square icon. And that square icon means that parameter has a mode.
Yes.
And we call those modes parameter modes. And all over the S4 there's these parameter modes, and what's new is a parameter mode for our wet parameters. So you'll see one here on wet, here on the granular device, one here on ring. You'll see one on deform, and you'll see one on delay and on reverb. And what this does is you can press, and then you can choose between mix, and this is the default option.
Yes.
This just runs the effect in parallel.
Yeah.
And you mix between the two sounds.
So this is the way it is in 2.04, 2.0 also as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So let's just hear how that sounds, so everyone is following. So we can start to hear that the reverb becomes louder and louder, and the dry signal disappears. At 100% it's only reverb, right? And when we turn down, there's no tail or anything. So that's the default behavior. That's the behavior that's been on there since launch. But if we press and we turn,
yes,
we get send mode. And send mode allows you to just send part of the how much you want of the dry signal into the sound.
Cool.
So this allows us to do stuff like this.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we can both make these kind of effect things, but we can also just make a nice little room for the drums to sit in without losing the original dry signal.
It's nice. It's like getting 4 extra tracks on this 4.
It's almost like that, because if you wanted to do this before, you had to make a new send track.
Exactly.
Bump up the reverb 100% of that and try to mix it nicely.
Exactly.
But now we can do it on one track. So we can also do it with delay. So now it's on mix here in the delay. So we turn. So we turn it up, but we can switch to send.
Yeah, it's nice making just those fast sends for like making dub sort of
exactly
styles, and yeah.
Just having a bit of fun with it. And this is also on all of the other devices. So deform here we can do some some kind of parallel distortion thing. So right now we can't hear it, but if we start to turn up wet, here we can beef up the drums. We can also do it on ring. So again, send mode. We can use the decay. And hear the filter bank resonating. Let's automate this with a wave modulator here in using a square wave. And of course we can also do it with Mosaic.
Yeah.
So again, send. So we press and hold to switch and send. Let's do 1 octave up, and then let's just see what happens when we turn up wet. Let's also automate that. So it's kind of like a new layer.
Yeah.
Bit of spray maybe. I like the bit of.
Yeah, it's also really interesting. You can hear like with the headphones on we have now, like the stereo feel is really interesting with the granular stuff going on left and right.
So
Cool.
it's kind of a new, fun way to use the effects on the S4, and it opens up so many new possibilities.
Definitely, like sometimes if you want some texture on the snare, for example, it would sort of you lose a lot of the snare when you started using Mosaic, but here you can just use it to add some subtle nuances. And also we discussed last time with the ring that it was either like very much present or not present, but now you can use it, for those subtle enhancements and.
So let's just maybe show that again.
Yeah, when you take the cut up down, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So let's keep this. So that's, you can see the audio coming in, right? So when you did this before, when you turned down the cutoff before, you wouldn't able to hear anything, so I can just do it now.
Yeah.
This is the default setting, right? The filter is completely shut off.
Yes.
But when we use the send mode, the two signals run together, and we can start to play with the kind of texture and harmonies of the filter bank in a new way. Oh, I think there's a funny loop going on.
Yeah. It's cool.
Nice. Detune it a bit maybe.
So how would this be like with the old setting?
Yeah, so with the old setting,
Just try to switch between.
yeah, let's try to switch between. Good idea. So send and mix.
Yeah. So a lot of like the original sample disappears here and sort of, it's filter.
Yeah. So we can also do stuff like that, right? Make these hits. Yeah.
Nice one.
So that was that's the new send feature. The send parameter mode.
Yes.
For our effects. So the plan is now we have this little thing going on.
Yeah, I think we might begin slowly jamming a bit.
Yeah, so maybe can you do something maybe where you also do a little jam with the send mode?
Yeah.
And then we can see if it fits.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Sounds like a plan.
So let's just see if it syncs up here. Oh. And let's switch to our top view here. Zoom out. And I'm gonna move you in a little bit, Patrick, so we can see what's going on.
There
so
we
we have our double S4 setup once again.
The winning combination.
The winning combination.
So
I think
you have over
there. I think I have it.
There we go. Yeah.
So I can just briefly say what we've done here with the setup. So this is this S4, the white S4 is syncing the black S4 using MIDI. The output is going to our mixer over here, and the output from the black S4 is going into the white S4.
Yes. So we can see here on channel 4 coming in.
Yes, that's what we...
And here we have the sample. So let's try and have a listen to this. Some of the new... So we just turn up here in the old mix mode. And then we can change to send. And then, yeah, let's make some of those bursts. Modulate it forward to make some...
Yeah, so you've put the delay and the reverb in send mode.
Exactly, yeah.
And you're modulating how much of the dry signal you're putting into those two effects.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like, yeah, on this already pretty dubby like pad to give it more of a dub delay effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then from here, we can just play with the filter as well. And then also start modulating this. Maybe also use the new send mode to make like these bursts of resonant filtering into the reverb and delay. So maybe like use the same modulator for some dry wet on the mosaic. Maybe some of the leveling.
Okay, I'm gonna slowly turn up the loop we've made before.
Yeah.
I think because we had a question about the sidechaining, before we do too much else, I think we're gonna... So we have the drums here from the white S4, and then on track 4 we have the black is for, and that's these kind of pads, and on this is for we have some drums going on. So this is a perfect thing for sidechaining. So
sidechain the pad to the drums.
Exactly. So on the mix page we have 4 modulators, and that's exactly how many you have on all of the tracks.
Yeah.
But you have 4 additional on the mix page. So let's open up mod, and when we open up mod, we are greeted with the random modulator. Let's select the new one. So press select, go to follow. This is an envelope follower, and what we have to do is we have to choose the input. And our input is track 1. So this is our drum loop we see right now. And we can kind of mix that a little bit. So we have a filter here that's kind of like a DJ style filter, so we can high cut it if we go down. So now we only get the kick. And we can tweak the rise and the fall a little bit to make it more or less snappy. So nice, we have that modulation going on now. Hold mod, and now we can start to map that modulation. And we simply just map it on the level parameter for track 4.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we have some sidechain action going on.
Yes.
To get that bouncy feeling.
And yeah, I guess there would be 2 ways to, you either choose to do it in the mix page like this, or on the track volume before the effects.
Exactly, yeah. So I could have gone in here. I guess I can't because we're using the bypass here, but yeah. So cool. Let's add a bit more. Patrick, I think we're kind of running out of time.
Oh no. How much time we have left?
I think we have around 1 minute.
Oh, that went fast. I was just really, just sort of got mesmerized.
Thank you everyone for watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in and having a good time with us.
Yeah, we hope to see you again next time.
Yeah.
Remember, go on Discord, see when we're gonna announce when we do another live stream, and remember to send in your questions if you have any for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.